The following broadcast may contain explicit language and adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised. The opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the hosts, talent, and guests, and do not reflect the opinions, views, and standards of Pyro Media Enterprises, affiliates, subsidiaries, or its members.
Hello and greetings and happy Monday, beautiful people. It is Camille here with another episode of Camille over Chai. Today we are going to be talking about building a legacy of love with Tomeeka Morris. I am so excited. So grab your cup of chai and join us back here. Hey guys, welcome back to Camille over Chai. I hope everyone has had a beautiful 2 weeks off from last week. What was last week? I don't remember what the holiday was. Oh, Memorial weekend. That's right. And had my baby nephew's second birthday. It's a lot been going on these past 2 weeks. But today's episode, I'm really excited to be having this conversation about building a legacy of love. I'm excited to be back today. So what is our chai of the day, y'all? It's not chai again because it's hot right now. Y'all gonna see me fanning in a second. So today's chai of the day is actually a key lime liqueur, right? Which is nice and cool and refreshing for my very, very hot self right now. And I have let me turn this around. It is the Hamsa design on this mug. I just love how simple but beautiful this little design is. Very intricate. I don't know who made it. Probably got it at Marshall's or Ross or TJ Maxx. But anyways, that's what we're drinking. This is the mug of the day. Today we're talking about building a legacy through love with Tomeeka Morris. And without further ado, I am going to introduce her by reading her bio. Click over to that screen. All right. So, Mika Morris is an advocate for equality, self love, and women's empowerment. Her messages are intentional and okay, the intentional goddess, intentional messages. I'm already excited. Um, and she encourages you to live a power packed and meaningful life on purpose. Mika is a dedicated wife and mother. She devotes her time to motivating women to seek clarity, tap into their personal truth, and visualize a long term plan to create their own place in the world. Mika understands that life teaches you lessons that no one else can. She has mastered the art of manifesting an ideal life through prayer, faith, and positive thinking. Oh, I love that. Her words will push you to do the same while fostering an apology free lifestyle without limits. Mika is also the host of Soul Stations with Mika Morris and the co host of the April and Tomeeka Show podcast. And she is one of my co authors in the amazing, beautiful, empowering book, She Nominal Women. Y'all, please welcome to the show, Miss Mika Morris, as we move into our Connection Cafe. Cue applause, applause, applause. All the Mika girl, how are you?
I'm here for the applause. Hi.
Mhm. Listen, I'm gonna have to talk to Tommy about getting a backing track.
I am well. How are you, Camille?
I'm hot, but I'm great. I'm good. I'm happy to be here, honestly. Just didn't realize the temperature was 76 degrees in the house, and I'm feeling all 76 of those degrees right now.
I
So,
understand.
okay. So all of my guests, all three of my guests that I've had, because it's the
All
new
of your
show.
guests.
Right, right. But I've started with these questions. So number one, I saw your cup. What are you sipping on today?
So I'm sipping on some, girl, it's a concoction. It's ginger, turmeric, cinnamon. I put
Ooh,
some ashwagandha,
oh,
just a
come on,
whole
health.
bunch of nice little herbs in there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sipping on some tea.
I
Normally,
love it.
I would have some tequila or something in it, but this is just tea today because it's early.
Next time you're around, bring the tequila, okay? Next time you can start early if you want. Okay. So the next question is, if you had to describe yourself as a flavor of tea, what would it be and why?
Mm. Sweet and spicy, sweet and
Mhm.
spicy. There's this sweet and spicy cinnamon tea that I like. So
Mm,
I'm sweet, but I'm a little bit of spicy.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I like it. I like it. That's the name of the second half of the program, sweet and spicy. So I think you're gonna fit right in. I love it. Okay, so lastly, one of the things that my intention is for this show is to help transform and expand the way that people define leadership or that just we define leadership. So tell me, what does the word leadership mean to you, and how would you describe yourself as a leader?
So, because we all try to be politically correct, especially in this
Hmm.
time in our lives. But I started to think, and I said, I don't want to do that. What I really want to do is how I actually live. I live my life by teaching my daughters leadership. So I'm teaching them that you're a leader right now, right here today. So we are all leaders. We can be a leader. We have to choose it. You know what I'm saying? Like we could choose to be followers, or we could choose to be the ones who's leading the crew. So I feel like to define that is just to simply be your authentic self. Um, Look, just be the best version of yourself every single day. And that's a characteristic of being a great leader. Like not trying to follow the pack, not trying to do anything that's not authentic, just literally being who God intended you to be every single day. And we have a chance to do it. Every time He gives us opportunity to wake up, we can be a leader that day.
Mm. All right, did y'all catch that? You're a leader right now. Right now. It don't matter what you're doing, whether you got
What
a
are you waiting
team.
for? It's like
Right.
lead. Just lead.
Start leading today,
Hmm.
today, and today. I love that. Okay. All right. So those are just like my little icebreaker questions. We just
Hmm.
at some point I envision creating a reel, a compilation of everybody's answers, and it's gonna be amazing. So
I
thank you.
like that.
All right. So let's start with how we know each other. Phenomenal
Okay.
Women. We are
Yes.
co-authors. What was that? 2020, 2021 project. Ooh,
Is
it's
it?
been a few years.
God.
I know, right?
It's been like 3 years. That's crazy.
Literally. Okay. Okay. So in the book, I know both you and I shared stories about loss and experiencing death and grief and that whole process. And so however much you want to share with us, just to give people a little teaser so they will go want to look for the book once we get off the show today. Just tell us a little bit about the story that you chose to share and why you shared it in the book.
Okay, so I chose the story. The title of my story is Losing Isaiah. What most people don't know about me is they know now I'm a girl mom, but what they don't know, and if they haven't read the book, is that I once was a boy mom, and my son tragically passed away in 2005. So I tell his story. I tell how how life happened, and then how of course, when life happens like that, and any mother can't even fathom the idea of losing their child. And neither could I. Like at the time, I just was like, okay, God, really this? You gonna put this on my plate too? So I wrote about that, and I wrote about how I just trusted God and got through it.
Mhm, mhm. And what made you decide, like, that was the story you wanted to tell? Because I know Phenomenal Women, I believe when Tasha introduced it to us, it's like women overcoming obstacles, challenges, struggles. So really you could have as a
Could have
woman, we
chosen
could
a
have
million
hello,
stories.
right. Because like, the loss of a child is so personal. So what gave you the strength or whatever word comes to you, to be willing to really share that story?
I think for me, as a woman and a mother, again, it's one of those stories that when you look at me, you don't know that that's the story. People can look at this and be like, "Oh, she's so great, she's so wonderful," and then when they go deep, it's like, "Oh, wow, and you got through that." So I just wanted to show people what the other side of grief looks like. It doesn't, look, nobody wears a badge saying, hey, I'm a mother of a child who's not here anymore. So, but we exist. You know us, you work with us, you live next to us, And some of you don't know how to approach us after knowing that, and some of you don't know how to approach after having to experience that with, someone. I know that once my son died, it was really hard and awkward at times for people to reach out and to say, hey, and nobody knew. I didn't know, it was new for me. So I just wanted to kind of like, let's have the conversation about death and how to
Mhm.
survive death and how, you can go through and get through. And it can look good again, because, going through it, once you start to come out of it, it's like, how you happy again, So I talk about that part, like how I got happy again and how weird it was to be happy again, because you start to think you're not supposed to be happy ever again. And I
Mhm.
think people start to look at you like, bitch, how you happy? How you happy and you lost your son? Girl, because I
How dare
am.
you? How dare you find happiness? How
Because
dare
I
you?
am, and I choose happiness. That's how. So,
Yeah.
but I also wanted to speak to the most difficult time in your life and how even through that you can still choose happy. You can still choose to live your best life on purpose. So that's why I chose that story.
I love that. And I totally can relate from the perspective. It's because sometimes I casually just like mention that my mom is dead. And sometimes I say it just very deadpan like that. And I realize a
Hmm.
lot of people don't, they can't,
They
but
can't
then
handle
people,
it.
exactly. And
Hmm.
it's funny because I'm trying to make a different point, but I have to like somehow it ties in. And all of a
Hmm.
sudden it becomes this, oh yeah, that's great. That's great. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And it's like,
Right,
thank you.
right. I don't
However,
need you to be sorry, but yeah, here's my
right,
point. Yes.
right. Thank you. However, so yeah, I agree, yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, so April and Tamika show. I know you have two shows, so we're gonna talk about the one first that you do
Okay.
with your friend April. And I watched an episode I think last week. It wasn't like the most recent episode. I don't even
Okay.
remember. Oh, you know what? It was after one of those most recent school shootings, and y'all were like, "We're
Okay.
not gonna talk about it," and then it still ended up
Then we
coming
started
up
talking about
anyways.
it.
Yeah, exactly,
We always
exactly,
do
and I was
that.
like but I felt like it was so authentic, because it's you because there was another point you were trying to make, and it's one of those things where if you really wanted to land, like, you have to kind of acknowledge the elephant first so that you can get to
Yes.
the thing behind the elephant, so I appreciated that, but I'm just
Mhm.
curious what inspired y'all to start the show in the first place?
Of course, the pandemic, everybody became podcast hosters during the pandemic. And April will tell the story like this. We had our little bubble, and in our bubble, we felt safe to go to each other's houses and
Mhm,
talk.
mhm.
And then put it one day, I mean, it all started just from us talking and having a funny conversation. And then we was like, let's go live. And we went live, and then we just decided, let's just do the April and Tamika show. And so for almost a year, we were gone, and then we just came back. And we didn't know. We was taking like a summer break, and
Mhm.
a summer break turned into a whole year. And then we came back. It feels so good to do that show. It feels so good to connect with our viewers. It just feels good to connect with each other as women, as seasoned women. We're a little seasoned, but we're a little young at heart. So it's we have so much fun doing it. But it started as a result of the pandemic, and trying to bring some life to such a sad time in our lives.
Mhm. So do you guys talk about, like, current events, or, like, what
We
kinda
we
conversations do you have?
we first, it just started talking about everything that we saw in the news.
Mhm.
Everything that we saw in the news, whether it was political, Trump, the shootings, the Black Lives Matters, because around that time, Black Lives Matters became really important to us. Um, we protested. We actually went out and protested together. But just everything, everyday events. So we'll go through the news and we'll say, these are the things we're going to talk about today. Some celebrity stuff, just anything that everybody's talking about at the time. We tell our opinions about it.
Mhm. Okay, so I gotta touch on that. So y'all went in the streets and did the
We
protests?
did. We did.
Wow.
Mhm.
You know
Mhm.
what? It was interesting. I definitely first, I acknowledge and appreciate y'all for being willing to go out and do that.
Mhm.
And I do think that protesting is important so people can actually see the number of people that care or a representation of the number of people that care and are willing to show up. But it was funny for me watching it, like watching the protests. I'm here in Atlanta, as you know,
Mhm.
as the viewers
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
But there was, like, an energy inside of the protest, especially in Atlanta, that I was like I personally felt like I couldn't be physically in those spaces. So I'm curious, how did it feel for you? Like, for me, when I looked at it, it felt very highly charged,
Mhm.
and some of it felt like you could see the people who had the good intentions, right? And the ones who were there to and which I'm sure that was you in April, but then I could you could feel the other side, right? Like those the counter protests and, like, the
Mhm.
underlying violent energy that felt like it was present, and so I'm really curious as somebody who was there because I don't think I've ever
This
spoken.
is why you're the intentional goddess, and I'm just Tomeeka. Okay. Um, Um, everyone who knows me knows that yes, I am very intentional about a lot of things, but I also am because I grew up in Washington D.C. And I grew up with my aunt and my dad watching the news every single day, all day, and it's just my thing. At
Mhm.
11 p.m., wherever I'm at, I'm trying to turn on the local news to see what's going on. And if I'm somewhere else in another country, I'm on world news. So for the first 12 minutes of the 11 o'clock hour, that's where you'll catch me. Now,
Okay.
people who know me and know my spirit, they're like, how do you do that and turn it off and not make it so personal? I just do. I don't know why. I just, maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm wired like that. But to your point, we go to the protest. One of my daughters went with us. She got really scared because a police car, they set a police car on fire. And I had to explain to her, sometimes people get so frustrated with the state of the world that this is the result of it. And
Mhm.
as much as you're scared, and I don't know what trauma she'll go through because she saw that and she witnessed all that, but it is a necessary of what's going on in our world. Like I can't sit around and just be, watching TV all the time without
Mhm.
trying to have a voice or a say so. I just saw a story today of a young woman who went to go retrieve her kid's laptop, and then the lady shot her through the door on a stand your ground incident. Look, I want to now go to Florida and do something because, like, what? So it's like we live in such a crazy world, but this is the 60s and the 70s all over again. This is the 50s,
Mhm.
this is like what our ancestors went through and walked through to try to give us a sense of equality and freedom. And here we are still in the same predicament. And it's weird. So it's like, what do you do?
Mhm.
So you try to figure out what works for you. And this is no judgment to no one, but I think everyone can do something. And
No.
whatever your something is, you just try to figure out what works for you and your family.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, and I during that time, for me, it was definitely more of how can I create more spaces for, like, love and
Mm-hmm.
conversation, and I remember I went on a few friends' shows, and
Mm-hmm.
talked about just, like, inclusion and all of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely was making posts, I was
Mhm,
I don't really
mhm.
do them Facebook posts, but I had a few. I look
Because
at my memories when they show up, I'm like, "Oh, I did have a moment there."
and you know what? I mean, doing something as simple as after the person comes in from the protest, giving them a hug and saying, "Thank
Yeah.
you for doing that. And what you
Mhm.
did today mattered. Now let me love on you because you need
Yeah.
this love now because of all that you've experienced in that moment." So it's so many ways to be there and support each other and help with the fight. Because look, it's
Yeah.
all about fight. It is all everything that's going on affects all of us in some way, and the silence of some of us is just weird to me.
It really is. You know what? And, we're getting off topic, y'all, but we gonna circle back. But I was at the birthday party for an 80-year-old woman this weekend, my
Mhm,
boyfriend's mom,
mhm,
and, she was saying she's lived through so many things, the civil rights,
mhm.
so she's like, "We lived through civil rights, Jim Crow, desegregation," and she's like, "There's a lot of y'all young people who say, 'I never would,' and she's like, 'Yes, you would. If you were in it, you would have done something you would have tried to do something, or you wouldn't have
Yep,
been able to sit quiet, or, whatever it
yep.
is," and so it's just when you just mentioned the civil rights thing, it made me think about that because somebody who was there,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
it's yeah. So, cool, thank you. I acknowledge you in April for that. Um, so bringing it back to the show,
Okay.
so you're doing this thing with your friend, and,
Mhm,
we're talking about leadership and all that, and so even though it really seems like y'all just be having a good time, I don't know how formal this show is for you, but I do know that
Not formal at all.
that
It's just
part.
fun. It's fun. And when we don't do it, it's like
It's
the
okay.
people miss us, but we miss doing it. It's
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
we'll think, well, wait a minute, we can't do it this week. Okay, can we do it next week? Can we do it Friday instead of Thursday? We try to carve out time to actually show up, but sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it is really like it's the easy yes for us to do
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. That's good. And so how is it working and building something with your friend even though it isn't super formal? There's still collaboration that has to
Mm-hmm.
happen, and friendships and personality dynamics can
Mm-hmm.
sometimes impact it. So what is that experience like for y'all?
Um, I guess we're the yin to each other's yang. Like it works. It just works. There's never been a conflict. Sometimes we'll overstep each other's boundaries and we have to throw each other cues that we have to figure out that this is a cue. And so, because
Mm.
we're not produced right now. But it's interesting how it all pans out. And then we'll finish the show and be like, oh, that was a good show. Or then if it's not so good, we'd be like, yeah, that wasn't that good. And we gotta prepare more next time. So we are really good at receiving critique from one another, and we're good at giving each other praise too. So we have
Oh,
a really good, healthy balance. Yeah.
that's good. I love that. Hey,
Hmm.
Cupcake, thank you for being here. Speaking of not being produced, I don't know if you know, just a slight aside, Pyro Media Network does help produce shows. Okay, just putting that in there.
Just
One
putting
plug
that
for
out there.
Pyro.
Hey, Pyro.
Right. Okay, so the other show that you have is Soul Versations. Tell me about that because I didn't get to look into that one as much, but I do want to know what we talked about.
Yes, you have to watch. Shout out to After I Do. They're in the building. That's April and her husband's show. Um,
Love.
they said hello. Hey
Hey.
guys. So Conversations is like that's my conversation show. That's a soul conversation. We're having conversations from the soul, and that's what we need to have more of. Like just really authentic conversations about with everyday people. Like,
Mhm.
how are you doing? We've already had an educator on. We've had a therapist on. We've had our first male guests who talked about mental health and mental health awareness. So I just want to have really meaningful conversations on Conversations. So that's what Conversations with Mika Morris is all about. It is my heart project. It is something that like everybody's like, what are you going to do next? And so that was what I'm gonna do next.
Nice. Okay.
Conversations with Mika Morris. I love it.
Okay. So where and when can they watch April and Tamika? And then where and when can they watch Soulversations?
Okay. April and Tamika show most Thursdays. You can come on IG
Oh.
Live most Thursdays. Most. Like I did that. Most Thursdays. And Conversations with Mika Morris, I try to record weekly, but life happens. And so
Mhm.
right now we're going to do a show this week, but those recordings come out on Sunday. They're on YouTube. Conversations with Mika Morris on YouTube. But you can go on YouTube, you can go on Spotify. Spotify, we have a podcast over there, so you can listen to us while you're driving. But if you want to see us, you go to Conversations with Mika Morris on YouTube and go look at some past episodes and then follow us and subscribe so that you can catch up on the new episodes.
I love that. All right, y'all heard it. Go find it. Go watch it. We are gonna take a quick commercial break so that we can pay some bills, right? I love saying that. It feels so TV of me.
It is so TV of you.
Right. And then when we get back, we're gonna go into the second part of Connection Cafe, the sweet and spicy section, and really dive in with Tamika Morris. So stay tuned. Grab you something to drink if you don't already have it, y'all. We'll be right back.
This episode is sponsored in part by Bullet and Flight Radio. Get ready to uplift your spirit with Bullet and Flight Radio, the world's leading progressive Christian radio station. Experience the vibrant fusion of gospel house music and a rich medley of inspiration from all musical genres. that'll make your heart soar. Join their extraordinary lineup of today's trailblazers, visionaries, and voices that matter, all sharing their stories and wisdom. Stay plugged in around the clock as they broadcast unmissable content 24/7. Your go-to station for all things inspiring. Become a pilot today by visiting bulletinflightradio.com. Bullet in Flight Radio. Your story, our station.
Welcome back, guys. Um, we're here with Mika Morris, Camille over Chai, for the second half of our Connection Cafe conversation, where we're about to get a little sweet and spicy. Oh, y'all, I'm so sorry. I forgot about the mic. I'm just here chitty chatting. Forgot I need to pick up the mic. Welcome back, guys. This is live, y'all. Okay. Welcome back to Camille over Chai. Time for the second half of our conversation with Miss Mika Morris. We are in the Connection Cafe, as I like to affectionately call it. And we're about to get a little sweet and spicy because I want to have a conversation with you, Mika, about self love. And the reason why is because when I went on your website, tomekamorris.com, guys, that's TOMEKA Morris, MORRIS.com. Okay, go check it out. I don't remember which page it was, but you had the question on there, when did loving you stop trending? And I said,
Mm,
oh, okay. Because I love a good conversation about self-love. All right. So,
I do too.
I mean, I'm like, where should I even begin with this conversation? So, was that question yours, number one, or what inspired you to put it on there, on your website in the first place?
That was definitely a question that I had in my head. It's like, when did it stop? When did self love stop being a priority? You know? And I know for me, it happened just like that for me. Like, when did you stop loving yourself enough, girl? Like, what?
Mm,
Why are you here as opposed to there? And it was because, like, I was loving him more than me. And girl, circle back.
okay, that's a word right there. So,
Mm-hmm.
it for you, it became obvious inside of like your romantic relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about this then, because you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Now that I think about it, I'm like, I think for me, the self love conversation came up when I was doing coaching. I was working with my mentor, so it was sort of the processing grief, and then just who am I now and who am I becoming as a woman? Because
Mm-hmm.
I just turned 30 when my mom passed away, and so like you already know, in your 30s, you are all of a sudden discovering a whole new version
Yes,
of yourself, right?
yes, yes.
And so,
You're like, I'm grown, but I'm not really
but
grown
am I
because I
grown?
don't feel
That's
grown. Yeah, you
hello.
don't feel grown. You're like, what is this?
In
I'm
my
supposed to
heart,
be
I'm still
grown though.
20. I'm still 21. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
even today, I might be 25 now on the inside. That's about it. But I remember it was. I don't remember the exact conversation, but or the session, all the details. But I remember the awareness, like, oh, I don't really love myself, right? And part of it was because of like I was complaining about some joker that I was dating. I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why are you accepting that from him, and why are you seeking all of this validation and all of these things from him instead of first having that within yourself? Because if you really liked
Right.
yourself and loved who you were, none of that would even fly, And
Period.
so that was the conversation. So, however much detail you would like to go into, what was that realization moment for you?
I just remembered that, like what I tell people all the time now, is that you can't love someone enough. You can't be good enough for someone else. You can't be a lot of things to a lot of people until you're everything to yourself. Okay. Because once you're everything to yourself, you don't even feel the need to do any of these things for other people. Like you literally will weed out who's not supposed to be there by default, by simply just loving yourself, because you won't even be attracted to that spirit ever again. Like it's like, no, I'm not interested. So for me, one day I just was like, wow, I'm being real nice. Nice ain't working. I'm trying to pray, praying ain't working. I'm trying to do, like, I'm doing all these things, and it's not about me doing or being or anything. It's literally he don't love himself and I'm not loving myself. And the fuck, it's not going to work.
Ooh.
It's not going to work. And so I was like, girl, but when did you stop loving you? Like, so I really had to like sit down and just go back to loving me unapologetically. And you know what's sad? Um, and loving yourself, it comes off as being selfish. It comes off, self
Yes.
care seems really selfish to most people because we're so used to seeing people go above and beyond for people who don't deserve it,
Mhm.
right? That when you see yourself going above and beyond for you, that looks foreign. So we have to regroup and redo and relearn a whole bunch of things that don't serve us no good things. So once I started to love myself all the way like I used to, things just started like falling over. And then literally I wrote a letter to God and I was like, okay, God, I got it. It was my ex-husband. So I said, I chose him. You didn't choose him for me. I get it. I'm so,
Mhm.
like, I get it. But I'm so loyal. I'm not going to leave just like that. But when I do leave, one, don't let me come back.
Mm.
Like, let my spirit
Mm.
know that this is time and let me peacefully go. I don't want to go out of drama. I just want to go.
Yeah.
But I was like, and whoever you have for me, because I'm so loyal, I'm going to miss him, whoever he is, because I'm loyal to this. So I'm going to miss
Yeah.
whoever you have for me. I said, but my spirit, let my spirit know. And
Yeah.
literally, my spirit knew. And when I
Mm.
left, peace that passes all understanding just came. And I just was like, yes, okay, God, I get it. So I just started to follow everything that I had wrote to God. And just like me and God had a whole sit down. I was like, okay, I know that my husband, whoever he is, loves you for real. He loves you so
Mhm.
much that he's going to love me the right way. Like he's going to put you first, and it's not going to be about me. Cause see, we think, oh, he loves me. He's so jealous of me. He just want to be with me, and we think that's love. It's not.
Yeah.
It is not, girl. So, and it's all these wrong things that we've been taught and we've been shown as to what love feels like. Love is easy. It's not
Yes.
complicated. It doesn't have to beat you over the head for you to get it. It's just like real simple and basic, and it's just caring. And it's you. It's you when you're loving yourself, attracted to you out loud. You know what I'm saying? So,
I love it. Yeah. I love
so I
that.
I got back to loving me, and then everything just started to fall into place
Yeah.
like it was supposed to.
Yeah. Hi, Keisha. I hope I said that right. Hey,
That's
Keisha.
my sister. Hey, Keisha.
Oh, love that. Thank you for watching. Um, so it's interesting when you said, when did I stop loving myself? Because one of the questions that came up for me in my process was, did I even ever know how to love myself? Because I thought about it, I'm like, we're taught to be confident. We're taught to work hard. We're taught to show
Mhm.
up this way and dress nice and look this way and
Mhm.
act this way and
Mhm.
all of that. But it was like, but did I even like all of that? Like, did I like who that person was? Did I love who that person was? And so for me, and this is not any sort of knock to my parents or anything like
Right.
that, because I think parents do the best that they can, right? And
That's right.
they try to instill what they know from the
Mhm.
best perspective possible. But I really realized that I don't think that I was properly taught to love myself, right? Like it's
Mhm.
care about yourself, care about your well-being, but like love who you are inside out. And so
Mhm.
being a 30, like knowing for 30 years that I probably was just okay with who I was, but didn't really love it. Like that was a like a wake up call. And I just think about as well, because I work with women mostly. And so
Mhm.
when I look at a lot of these women today, I feel like there's a lot of them who are in the same boat as I am. And it's
Mhm.
showing up a lot right now with this whole like plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery movement.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know how on the interwebs you are, like the Instagrams and all that. And the young lady who just passed away last week, you
Mhm.
heard of Jackie O, right?
Mhm.
From well, they didn't say exactly what, but we're just gonna assume complications with her procedure or the
Mhm.
aftercare of it. And it's like there are women literally killing themselves to look a certain way to feel better about themselves. That's the big question. What are your thoughts on that and like the plastic surgery, all of that in the realm of loving yourself?
I think that so I'm a certain age, and I know that when I was younger, okay, when you heard about Diane Carroll or Elizabeth Taylor and all of them back in the day getting plastic surgery, they were like old, so they needed it, okay? A 20-year old getting anything, and they wasn't getting their ass done. They was just getting their face, whatever.
Mhm.
And you never heard them dying to be
Mhm.
younger. Um, and not that I'm sure, look, that's what 20 to 30 years ago of things that have now grown and become great. But a 20-year-old who's changing her nose, who's changing her lips, this is my thoughts on it. And it's funny because April and I just discussed it on our show because she died the same day we just taped.
Oh wow.
Um, Look, I don't know who women are doing it for. I don't know if they're doing it for themselves. I don't know if they're doing it for each other. I don't know what. All I know is a man doesn't care. Okay.
Mhm.
And if the woman who's loving on you as a woman, she shouldn't care either, really. I don't know a woman who's in a relationship with a woman who's saying, girl, you need your ass done. Like, I don't know those relationships. So I don't
Yeah.
know if they exist. I don't know if a guy's saying, girl, here, I'm going to give you 10 G's, go get your back. I don't know
Mhm.
that. All I know is when a man loves you, he really care what you look like. He cares about the essence of you. And if he just cares about what's between your legs, he just cares about what's between your legs. He doesn't care how it's packaged. So who are we really doing it for? Who are we killing ourselves for in the long run? Like, I think that once you do one procedure, you're not going to stop. Because if
Mhm.
you found the first flaw, hello, you're going to find number two, number three, number four, number five. And that's where it gets a little bit, it's a lot. I don't think nobody who does one surgery stops at one and done, especially in
Mhm.
their 20s.
Yeah.
Because think about it, at 20, you're going to keep finding shit. So, I mean, I'm raising daughters and I'm literally trying to teach them, girl, look at your nose. Your nose is so pretty. And look at your eyes and your girl, you don't need makeup. What would you need makeup for this pretty face for? Like, this face is
Yeah.
amazing. And so we have to start looking at each other and seeing each other and maybe just, I don't know, compliments mean nothing if you don't feel love within your own self.
Mhm.
And so you're right, we are in a time and a place where a woman can have it all together on paper, but internally she feels like she's nothing. She's not dating anyone, she's not getting a date, she's in her 40s up against these 20-year-olds. So,
Mhm.
she thinks she needs to get hers plumped but your guy wants you just like you are. I can complain about my stomach all day, but my man probably loves my belly. So it's like, who who is this about? So
Right.
until you can learn, like, look, we all want to look good. I think the best way to look good is to find the healthiest route to do it. I think, yes, we all could use some 10,000 steps in our life. I think we
Mhm.
all could use a better diet in our life. Those are easy fixes. You know what I'm saying? No, they
Mhm.
don't taste good. No, they don't feel good. No, they're not automatic,
Right.
like a
Mhm.
surgery. But let's look at what the surgery is. I don't want to go in a hotel and be laid up for a few days before I can get on a plane because
Mhm.
I'm in so much goddamn pain.
Mhm.
And who's there to help? You know what I'm saying? Because you're embarrassed. You didn't tell nobody to go with you, right?
Mhm.
You want to come back fit, like you just went on vacation and this is how you came back. So I don't know.
Went away on
It's
a
just
retreat.
I don't think people consider all of what you're doing. It's like you can go, like, I've had cancer, so I've had surgery. You can die in cancer surgery.
Hmm.
So I'm not electing to have just surgeries just because to look any more better than I can. It's too many wigs out here, it's too much makeup out
Come
here.
on now.
Look, it's fake booties out here
Listen.
in loungewear. Like, so I don't know who y'all doing it for. So it's so many ways around the surgery of it all,
Yeah.
because like I said on the April and Tomeeka show, I used to do a lot of daredevil and shit like zip lining. I
Hmm.
can't do it no more because now I have to think, okay, what if I die doing this zip line?
Hmm.
And so now I keep my stuff to water sports. So if I fall in the water, at
Ma'am.
least I got a chance.
Ma'am.
That's how I'm looking at life now. Yeah.
Not you about to act like water is not dangerous.
I can swim. My chances are greater, you know. But if I just fall in the
Off the zip
jungle and I'm
line.
just pop, that's it. If the line pops, that's it. So
All right.
it's like you got to consider worst case scenario. And if your worst case scenario means you're dead because you got your ass done or your stomach, I don't know how that looks. Like I
Yeah.
don't. For me, and this is me personally, God rest, God bless her soul and all the women who've lost their lives through these surgeries. Listen, for me, I don't want y'all coming to my funeral because y'all died on the table trying to get an ass. That's not the
Mhm.
service I want to die from. We all could just
Yeah.
walk out here and get hit by a bus, but I don't want mine to be about trying to, look better in the outfit. No,
Mhm.
that's my take. Sue me.
I think I think it's a good take. It's a good take. Um, okay. I have so many other thoughts, but I want to hear a little bit about the coaching that you're doing now as well, because I want to talk about the legacy building through love and why did you choose to focus on love for your or self love for your business?
Um, Here's the deal, because like you said, so many of us at this age, okay, like again, I'm raising daughters. I have a 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 29-year-old. So we dealing with some stuff at every level, right? And then there's me, and I'm about to be 50.
You look
So
good, girl, and you look good.
thank you. So what I say in coaching to anyone is simply this: I tell my daughters, who you are at 6 is who you are at 16, and who you are at 16 is who you are at 26, and who you are at 26 is who you are at 36. So at any point, we can change and become who we really want to be. Okay. But some of us think, oh, we'll get it once we get the car, and we'll get the self esteem once we get the job, or we'll get the self esteem once we get the husband. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
You're attracting right where your low self esteem
Woo!
is. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's so much better to just figure out who it is you're trying to be and to love yourself right at this stage, so that you're just pouring more self love into every area and stage of your life. You're not going to attract anything better if you don't deal with the root of you, period. So, you know, um, it's good to have affirmations of love. It's good to just choose happiness. It is good to just only go and celebrate those things that celebrate you. If they're not celebrating you where you're at, and your energy and spirit feels it immediately, if you walk into the room and everybody you hear, the little, and you got to fake it till you make it, and, and it doesn't feel good there, that's not your space. Go where you're celebrated. No, we're too busy trying to be validated by those people who don't care diddly about us, so it's like meditate, ask God who you are, ask God who you're supposed to be. Look in the mirror, tell yourself how beautiful you are, how loving you are, how great you are. We will hear 25 compliments, but it's that one negative thing that someone said, and we will let that thing take root, and it becomes the total sum of who we are for the next 5 years. And now we need counseling and sit on somebody's couch because we let
Mm.
that take root.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, and in regards to the 25 nice, the one negative, one of the things my old mentor used to say is that if you don't accept their applause, you don't have to accept their boos or whatever
hello,
the opposite of it
hello.
is. And it's not to say don't be appreciative when people acknowledge you, but if you are allowing yourself to get too gassed when they're like bigging you up, then you're gonna be immediately knocked down the moment that they're like, oh well, actually, no, I don't like that today. And so it's just it really, and I think that for me was the thing that I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so how can I always applaud myself first? That's the question, right? It's
It
like,
is so true. It is
what are
so
the things
true.
I can clap for me about first?
I tell my girls all the time, I don't care what someone said good about you. What do you think? It's not about
Yeah.
what people say about you. It's what do you think really? Because I'm your mom. Of course, y'all not listening to me because I'm your mom. but but while you're not listening to me, don't listen to them, whether it's
Yeah.
good or bad. Whether it's good
Hmm.
or bad.
Hmm.
Listen, literally understand that little small voice and make sure that voice is bigging you up all day long. You know,
Hmm.
make
Yeah.
sure that's the loudest, that's the quietest voice in your head is the loudest voice that you hear all day long. So it's that voice that you want to make sure be good to you. What are you saying about yourself when nobody's listening?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Because it really it emanates through how you,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, you end up moving through the world. Because I
Mm-hmm.
can feel the difference in how I show up and how people respond to me on those days when I kick it off. I'm like, come on now, look at you doing it. Versus the days where maybe, it took me a little extra to wake up. I'm feeling groggy, like I didn't, like I'm just like, oh, whatever. And it's a completely different response in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of areas. But if you're not paying attention or if you're so caught up seeking it externally, you won't even take credit.
Yes.
You won't even take credit for how you impact your day and how you impact how other people um receive you. So I like that. Love that. I love everything. That's my line. Love that. But okay, so this was a great conversation. Listen, I had like four other things I want to talk about, but I'm looking at
Aw.
the time. So, what? No, I mean this self love thing. There's so much we could have. I really should have started with that, but I want them to get to know you as well. So I wanted to do a little double double.
Mhm.
All right, so we're gonna go to our final commercial break of the show, y'all, and when we come back, we're going to let it steep. Mika is gonna share some final thoughts, and we are gonna wrap this thing up. So y'all, go get a refill. Come on right back.
Oh.
Are you ready to take your streaming broadcast, website, or social media visuals up a notch? Pyro Media Productions is here with the perfect solution. From dynamics design and professional headshot shoots to family photo ops, they've got all you need for stunning content creation. Check out pyromediaproductions.com today and add that creative flair. Pyro Media Productions, setting brands ablaze since 2017.
Welcome back, guys. All right. So it's time for us to let it steep, which means that we are going to get some last takeaways from our conversation with the amazing, beautiful Mika Morris. So the title of today's show was Building a Legacy Through Love. And we did have a whole self-love conversation, but we also heard all the other things Mika is doing as well. So I'm going to ask you, Mika, how are you building a legacy for yourself through love? And then if there's anything else you want to say, you can, but definitely the building the legacy part first.
You know what I was thinking the other day? It's funny that we live in this time where um if I died today, all of my conversations would have been about love. So that's my legacy of love. And I just thought that, wow, it is kind of great to live in this time and this day that my kids will be able to go to the internet and see things like this. And
Yeah.
it'll be me pouring into them. And I thought about it when we lose our great, singers, and how the music will play on and on and on. So I think that it's these podcasts, it's these interviews, it's the books that I'll write, it's anything, my podcast, like most of them are about love. All of them are about, building yourself, being your best self. And I think that on my the legacy that I will leave for my children and my children's children is that, this girl literally lived to just create love and just teach us how to be better. So I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. I was thinking about that. I don't know why God put that in my spirit. And I was like, yes, yes, God, thank you. Like, thank you that I said yes
Balance.
to the April and Tamika show, that I, decided to do Soul Conversations with Mika Morris. And that every time I get an opportunity to speak on a podcast, that I'm able to just share, that we all go through, but we don't have to get stuck in our going through. We can actually come out, and our testimony can be one that inspires people to understand that they're not alone, and that if they just continue to put God, or whoever they call God, first,
Mm.
that they too will have a legacy of love in their life.
Yeah, I love that. And I would agree. And I really love that you said all of your conversations have been about love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of want to issue a challenge to anybody watching live. And thank you for those who are watching live. Big up yourself. Drop something in the comments so we can post it on the screen that you're here, even if it's just a little heart. But pick up to y'all and our replay viewers as well. But I really want to challenge you guys to think about how you can incorporate love into more of your conversations moving forward, even if it's just telling your friends, telling your loved ones, your family, I love you at the end of the
Mm,
conversation. I think that's a great start. I know, like in the last, I want to say 5 years, I've been a lot more intentional about just any, most of my friends just kind of closing it out with, oh, love you, girl, love you, boo, something, just because I grew up not really saying that a lot, not saying it enough.
mhm,
And I think it's and not because there wasn't love, but just that just, some people are not as expressive
mhm.
verbally of with their affections and their emotions. And so just being more intentional about that and intentional about incorporating love. So that's y'all's challenge for those of you who are here. All right. So thank you for your final thoughts, Miss Mika. And that was my final thought. Hey Keisha. Thank you for being here again. All right, we're going to move into what's brewing so that you can tell us what you have going on, what you got coming up, Mika. And please tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs as well.
Okay, so of course you can find me at Conversations with Mika Morris on YouTube or Spotify. Um, Definitely the April and Tamika Show weekly, Thursdays on IG. And my IG is Mika Morris. And I'll be doing the Phenomenal Women Conference in July, and then their
Yeah.
retreat in October. And yeah, just stay tuned. We're doing some things, you
I
know?
love it. Yes. So I don't know if y'all caught that. For those of you who are fans of Pyro Media Network and in its entirety, Miss Tasha Champion over at She Is Phenomenal. She is doing the Phenomenal Women's Brunch. You said in
Mm-hmm.
July, and then the
Mm-hmm.
retreat in October. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you enjoyed listening to Mika right now, then you can go see her live if you're in California. I mean, really, you can fly in if you want to.
Yes.
And at the brunch and also at the retreat. So you got two opportunities to connect and get some of this Mika Morris love, real person in real life. Okay. So with that, Mika, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And yes, it was great. This was a great conversation.
It was. It was. And for you beautiful people who are watching, thank you guys so much for being here. As you know, I'm Camille Talicia. If you would like to connect with me on the interwebs, you can find me at Camille Talicia or at The Intentional Goddess. My website was scrolling along the bottom there at theigoddess.com. I have Twitter or theintentionalgoddess.com. If you enjoyed today's show, please feel free to like this video, subscribe to Pyro Media Network as well. You can hit the bell so you can be notified when all of the Pyro shows come on. Because this is a whole network, honey. We got shows. I don't know if y'all saw that little commercial, but we got shows. So
Yeah, I
stick
do have
around.
shows.
Check out some of the other shows as well, like the She is Phenomenal that we just mentioned. I think she's on Wednesdays. I should know this better, but I'm blanking right now. And for those of you who maybe have missed it or didn't see it on my socials, not on my email list, I do have a workshop coming up June 17th. It is the Win Your Way workshop. It's for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to just learn how to create more authenticity and alignment and flow in their lives, their business, whatever space you want to. We're going to be talking about that. And so with that, y'all, we're complete for today. We're a couple minutes early, but we're going to close it out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next Monday on the 12th with another guest. And until then, be blessed, be amazing, and be intentional. We'll see you next week, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Pyro Media Network's YouTube channel for more awesome content. Plus, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live or upload new videos. Visit pyromedianetwork.com today, not just to check out our incredible roster of talented creatives, but also to gain access to exclusive bonus material available only to our Pyro fam. Show your support for this Black-owned indie network by donating today. Help us keep igniting brands everywhere.